Welcome in, everybody. Notre Dame has its next scheduled game, and it is the Blue Gold game coming at you April 12th, 2 p.m. from inside Notre Dame Stadium. This is another episode of the Irish Football Pod. Super excited to get into this one today. Connor, what's going on, man?
How we doing today, guys? Feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Excellent. Yeah, dude. So April 12th, we get to see those gold helmets running out of that tunnel for the first time in 2025.
Mhm.
Super exciting as always, anytime the guys can take the field. So just super pumped. I know that there was a couple of dates thrown around in terms of when this game was going to be. And, we had just been talking about it earlier that day, but when they announced it, we immediately started looking at flights. I think we're going to make it up there for it.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's actually going to be my first game at Notre Dame Stadium, which is a spring game, but that should lead me to some good momentum going to my first true real home game. So looking forward
Yeah,
to it.
man. Yeah. You've been in the stadium for the stadium tour. Obviously, when I was a little bit younger, my dad would take me to games. My birthday's in November, so he'd always bring me to games around my birthday. But I have not seen a game in there since they put the new field in. I saw it when it was that traditional grass, kind of a slow field. Um, I've done the
Early
stadium tour as
2000s.
well, but yeah, but I have not seen an actual game in there with the new turf, the new stadium buildings, all that stuff. So super excited. April 12th, 2 o'clock. We'll get to see the Irish for the first time in 2025. Let's go through a couple things that we're looking forward to seeing from the squad. I think number one, anybody could point to it. It's going to be the quarterback. Through spring practice, leading up into this spring game, this is the first year in quite a while. I'd say about good 3 or 4 years where I don't know if the fans know. I don't even know if the coaches know who is going to be the starting quarterback for Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's the biggest question for Notre Dame right now, and you got to think the coaching staff. You said they don't have an idea. I mean, you could be right, but I think I look back to when Freeman was recruiting CJ Carr and he had got him on campus, and he ended up, committing shortly after he made that visit. They just had that vibe back then. I just remember that dap up specifically with him and Carr, and it seemed like from that moment Freeman knew that that was his guy. So I firmly think it's going to be Carr. That's just my honest opinion. I think he's the best overall talent in the room, and that's what you want at the position. You want the best guy in there. So
I couldn't agree more. I think at this point, with the three that we don't have a Sam Hartman coming in. We don't have a Riley Leonard. We don't have a Jack Cohn, who basically were coming in and they knew they'd be the guy.
yeah,
At this point, I want the guy with the most upside. Wait, if we take some licks early in this next QB's tenure, whatever. If he's got a strong upside to become that like elite QB that these other teams have and what you need essentially to win a national title at this point, I'm okay with it.
hmm
Now, I will say, whoever we get behind and start pushing forward into this job, man, it's a tough test. Like those opening slate games for 2025, it's no cupcake, easy walk. Like they are thrown right into the fire, and it is going to be hot and heavy early in the season for whoever gets this starting QB job.
yeah. That's what you go there for, though, right? If you want to beat the best, you got to be the best, and we saw that last year and this past season. It was not the easiest road we've taken. Well, opponent wise, people can argue that, um, but every year is different. You have teams, and again, it's not Notre Dame's fault that teams like Florida State and Southern Cal weren't the best. Um, so,
Yeah, it
we'll point
wasn't
to
our
that.
fault. these schedules were made so far in advance. It wasn't our fault that USC and Florida State, these are top brand names in the country. It's not our fault that they sucked. What do you want us to do?
Yeah.
The first 7 games of our season is an absolute gauntlet. You've got Miami, Texas A&M, Arkansas, SEC team on the road, Boise State, USC. I don't care at this point. I don't care what anybody says. The schedule is a schedule. It's made far enough in advance. It is what it is. But, you're right. Like the QB is going to have an intense opening slate for whoever wins this starting job as the first time starter at Notre Dame. Um, Outside of QB, it's going to be interesting in this transfer portal era. Sometimes this is the first time that we get to see the transfer guys. So how do they look on the field? Are any of those guys flashing and showing us like, oh dang, like this is going to be exciting in the fall?
Hmm.
So, we've got a couple of new offensive guys. We got a couple of new defensive guys. Of course, in the spring game, we're kind of just, going through the motions, hitting a little bit, playing some football, but obviously the teams don't like to show a lot and show a ton. But it'll just be interesting to see kind of who flashes and who kind of makes a splash onto the Notre Dame team.
Hmm. Yeah. To go along with that, we just posted a video on the social media of all like the young kids that have already gotten to campus, and they're putting in some good work early. So it's cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was a good video. And then obviously, I think one of the things that I'm going to be looking for is the energy from the program, which at this point, with the run that we just went on, the energy is going to be high. Like we're basically just a little over 3 months now from this game taking place. The guys are going to be fired up. They get to strap on the gold helmet, some of those guys for the very first time. It's just going to be great. I can't wait to see it, be in the environment. Uh, it's just going to be cool to feel and see that energy, especially because like the 2025 team is just coming off of such a successful year. Like these guys and this staff, they're really going to be trying to just maintain and keep that up. So it's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, there's gonna be a bunch of energy behind this team. There's no doubt about it. Um, I don't know what team could go that far and not have some sort of momentum or energy behind it. I mean, there's you didn't ultimately get the prize you wanted, but again, that energy it takes a lot of that to get to that point at the same time. So
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. And then in other news, it's looking like Notre Dame is trending towards getting Blanchard in the door. It has not been officially announced yet, but
it's
he
close.
visited he visited South Bend. He first met with Freeman and some of the other staff members in Mobile at the Senior Bowl.
Hmm.
Obviously, the conversations went pretty dang well to where they got him up to South Bend. He was there, confirmed in the Bend. So I think it's just a matter of time at this point, unless he has like a really big change of heart or if something
Well,
else
there's
happens. But it's looking like he's coming.
yeah, there's just a couple logistical things that they're figuring out. I've heard it's not really money, but he does have five children, I think. So it's a big significant move for him. He's got to make sure all everything's lined up for him to do it. But I
Yeah,
think it'll be
it's
an upgrade if it does happen, or when it does happen. It'll be a pretty significant upgrade.
for sure. And it's easy for us as fans to be like, well, why wouldn't he come? There's just a lot that goes into it. You're moving your family from Lubbock, Texas to Notre Dame. I didn't even know that he had 5 children. So there's just a lot of it's a big personal move for a lot of people. Now, obviously, when coaches are climbing up the ranks like this, obviously they'll be a little more apt to jump at the opportunities, but there's a lot more that goes into it, which is, something to be considered. But I just
Yeah.
have no doubt that if the money's right and Blanchard thinks it's a fit, Notre Dame will do what it can to help him, make that transition as easy as possible.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah. Um, Big news on recruiting too, dude. 4-star receiver Braden Robinson. He's got 3 official visits set: Miami, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. When you're in
I
the
like
top
how Notre
3,
Dame. I like how Indy's the last one too. It always just feels good when they're the last school that they're seeing.
yes, when I saw the dates come out for that, I was like, "Okay, perfect. Freeman's got him last. That's what we want to see." Like, as long as he gets there, right? Hopefully, the other visits don't go grand slams, knock it out of the park where he, doesn't come to Notre Dame, but get him on campus. That's his last visit. I was excited when I saw that too. So,
Yeah.
just to be in the running for guys like that who have a top 3 of those caliber of schools, that's what's going to move the needle. That's what's going to help us get over that hump. We need more skilled playmakers like him. And just kind of the recruiting buzz that I've been seeing the last week or so, man, we've got a lot of guys that are looking at Notre Dame heavy now. And you got
Mhm.
to think that run we just went on, there's no doubt that that helped us big time.
Easily, easily, man. That's what every program wants. There can only be two teams that are in that game out of 135. It's very small possibility every year to even get there. So it's momentum. We've been talking about it since we started this channel. It's literally what Freeman's created, and there's no doubt in my mind that we're holding on to that and we're using it to our advantage at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And just like you always say, like, just get one of those trophies in that case, in
Dude,
that new
that's what I was
building.
envisioning before that championship, man. Because imagine we had that trophy before the new facility was up. Literally, the grand opening of that new facility, you'd have one of those trophies in there. That
And we
still
still couldn't
possible.
make it a
Yeah, it's
we
still
s we s
possible.
we still couldn't make it a reality. You know what's
Yeah.
interesting too? One of those, like, mainstream national analyst guys, I forgot what his name was, but he had Notre Dame as a 6th seed in his, like, projected bracket for next year, and he had us losing to Texas in the championship game, so he had us going pretty far. It just, I don't know. The national narrative was obviously up when we were getting to Ohio State, and they had to build that thing up. Then we lost, and some of the narrative was, "Oh, it's just another big game. Notre Dame lost again." They kind of like retracted a little bit, but
Hmm.
you can kind of see like some of these guys and some of these analysts, national, like in the national scene, we're getting a little bit more respect. But I just don't think you get that total respect until we win it all. But to get that close, we just got to keep it going. So just super pumped. Blue Gold game, April 12th, 2 p.m. inside Notre Dame Stadium. We will be there. We're already looking at flights. We're both from South Bend, so happy to be back. We'll see some family, get to hang out with some other fans at the tailgate. So just looking forward to it. But happy to have the game announced. We've got transfer news, recruiting news, and Blanchard looking like he's coming. So, man, that's all we can ask for. Energy is high. Things are moving. Things are happening. You can't beat it.
Yep. Hit us up, man. Let us know what you want to see, what you want us to talk about, and yeah, onward to victories, man. Go Irish.
Go Irish. As always, like, comment, subscribe, hit us up on X. Let's keep this conversation going revolved around Notre Dame. This is 365 every day of the week for us. So, we're in it. We love talking about it. As always, go Irish, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.
Go Irish.